When you think about your favorite brand, what comes to mind first? Some people will say it's the logo, the golden arches of McDonald's, the swoosh of Nike, the bitten apple of Apple. But if you pause for a moment and think deeper, you'll realize it's not really the logo at all. It's the story, the feeling, the experience. It's the way the brand makes you feel about yourself, about your choices, and about the world around you. And this is exactly why, in 2025, logos no longer build brands on their own. Logos are important, but they are no longer the heart of a brand. Today, we're going to dive deep into how modern branding has shifted beyond logos into experiences, storytelling, and community. And by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why logos aren't enough anymore, but you'll also learn what really builds a strong brand today, and how you can use these lessons to grow your own brand or career as a designer. Let's start by taking a step back. For decades, branding was often reduced to one thing, the logo. Businesses would pour money and endless hours into creating the perfect mark, something simple, timeless, and iconic. And there's truth to this. Logos are powerful visual shortcuts. The Nike swoosh alone is worth billions in brand equity. The Apple logo is recognized in every corner of the globe. Logos help people identify and remember brands quickly. But here's the catch. In today's world, recognition alone doesn't build loyalty. Customers don't just buy because they recognize a symbol. They buy because of what the brand means to them. They buy because of how it fits into their lifestyle, their identity, and their values. So what's changed? Why don't logos carry the same weight they used to? The answer is simple. The world itself has changed. We live in an era of infinite choice. If you're looking for running shoes, you have hundreds of options. If you want a smartphone, you have dozens of brands competing for your attention. If you want skincare, clothing, software, or food, there are endless options at your fingertips. Consumers aren't asking, which logo do I recognize? They're asking, which brand speaks to me? Which brand feels like it understands me? This is where branding in 2025 gets exciting. The real power of a brand isn't in the logo anymore. It's in the experience, the storytelling, and the community. Let's break that down. First, the experience. Think about Apple again. Is it the logo that makes people sleep outside the Apple Store the night before a launch? No. It's the experience, the excitement of unboxing, the sleek hardware, the way every detail feels intentional. Apple's true branding is in how its products make people feel. They've turned unboxing into a ritual. That's experience-driven branding. Another example is Starbucks. Their logo, the mermaid, is recognizable, sure. But Starbucks isn't just a coffee brand. It's an experience. It's the smell of roasted beans, the customizable drinks with your name scribbled on the cup, the cozy spaces where you can sit and work or meet with friends. Starbucks turned coffee into culture, and that's why people pay $5 for something they could make at home for 50 cents. The second pillar is storytelling. Storytelling is now the new logo. If you want people to care about your brand, you need to tell stories that matter. Let's take Patagonia. Their logo is plain and simple, but their story about sustainability, about protecting the planet, about reducing consumerism, that's what hooks people. Customers don't just buy jackets. They buy into the story, they buy into the movement. And this is why Patagonia has some of the most loyal customers in the world. Tesla is another great case study. The Tesla logo is nice, but the real branding is Elon Musk's storytelling. It's the story of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. It's the vision of a future where cars drive themselves, where the grid is powered by renewable energy, where we live on Mars. People don't just buy Tesla because it's a car. They buy Tesla because it feels like the future. And then there's community. Community has become the new currency of branding. We're living in the age of networks and social media. People don't just want to consume a brand. They want to belong to it. They want to be part of something bigger. Take Figma. Their logo is simple, colorful, and recognizable. But Figma's true strength isn't the logo. It's the global community of designers who share ideas, create plugins, and host events. The brand thrives because the community carries it. Look at Red Bull. The logo is fine, but the brand power doesn't come from the bulls on the can. It comes from the culture of extreme sports, adventure, and energy that Red Bull has built around itself. Red Bull doesn't just sell drinks. It sells adrenaline. It sells lifestyle. So let's recap. Logos still matter, but they are no longer enough. In 2025, a brand is defined by the experiences it delivers, the stories it tells, and the community it builds. These three elements are what create loyalty, trust, and love. Now let's talk about what this means for you. Whether you're a business owner, a designer, or a developer, if you're a designer, stop thinking about branding as just a logo project. Think bigger. Think about the whole experience. What does the packaging feel like? What's the unboxing moment? How does the website make people feel when they scroll through it? How does the app guide people through a journey? Also, think about storytelling. When you design, ask yourself, what story is this design telling? How does this color palette, this typeface, this layout contribute to the bigger story of the brand? Good design isn't decoration, it's communication. And finally, think about community. How can you create design that encourages connection? That could be designing events, creating branded spaces, or even building digital platforms where people gather. Remember, people come for the product, but they stay for the community. If you're a business owner, here's the takeaway. Don't put all your energy into your logo. Yes, get a good logo, but invest more energy into crafting an unforgettable customer experience, telling powerful stories, and building a community. That's what will make your brand survive and thrive in the years ahead. Let me give you a few actionable examples. Imagine you're launching a skincare brand. Instead of obsessing over the logo shape, think about the unboxing. Maybe the packaging tells a story of natural origins, maybe it's recyclable, maybe it creates an Instagram-worthy moment. That's branding. Imagine you're building a fashion brand. Yes, your logo on a shirt matters. But what story are you telling? Are you about self-expression, sustainability, empowerment? Create a narrative people want to wear. That's branding. Imagine you're creating a tech startup. The logo is just a mark. The real branding is the community you build. Maybe you have a Discord server where your users share feedback and ideas. Maybe you host live streams where you talk openly about your roadmap. That sense of belonging builds brand love far faster than any logo. Now let's look at some pitfalls. Why do so many brands still fail even when they have good logos? Because they forget that branding is about consistency. If your customer service is terrible, your logo can't save you. If your product doesn't deliver value, your logo won't carry the weight. If your storytelling doesn't resonate, your logo becomes an empty symbol. Think about Blockbuster. Think about BlackBerry. Their logos were recognizable, but they failed to create experiences, stories, and communities that evolved with the times. Recognition without relevance is useless. On the flip side, think about Airbnb. Their logo is nice, but what really makes them successful is the story they tell about belonging anywhere. That story is baked into every part of the experience, from the app design to the user journey to the way hosts interact with guests. That's branding done right in 2025. So the big question is this: how do you start building brands beyond the logo? Here's a simple framework you can use: experience, story, community. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, what's the experience we want our customers to have every time they interact with us? Map that out. Design it deliberately. Second, what's the story we're telling, and is it consistent across every touch point? From ads to packaging to customer support, is the story aligned? And third, how are we building a community around our brand? Where are the spaces for people to connect, to share, and to feel like part of the movement? When you answer those 3 questions, you'll be building a brand that's ready for 2025 and beyond. The truth is, logos will always be part of branding. They're important, but they're no longer the crown jewel. The crown jewel today is experience, storytelling, and community. Logos may get people to notice you, but it's the story, the feeling, and the belonging that makes them stay. So next time you're building a brand, don't just ask, what should my logo look like? Ask instead, what story am I telling? What experience am I designing? What community am I building? Because in 2025, that's what really builds a brand.